Now that is a problem. So here I'll be talking to you about that situation. Once you have this refractive surprise, what do? Okay, we agree that an accurate alignment of the toric IOL is essential, which we have already talked about. And we do know that even if we do a toric IOL, we do get some surprises. What is the reason for these refractive surprises? So there could be 4 reasons. One, it was an inaccurate preoperative measurement. Somehow with all your calculations, things were just not right. 2, faulty intraoperative identification of the target meridian. That means you were supposed to place it at this axis, but somehow you didn't identify that axis properly and you placed the toric IOL at a slightly different axis. 3, surgical misalignment of the IOL and postoperative IOL rotation. We know, it has been clearly documented, that if an IOL rotates by 10 degree, it loses 1/3 of its power, the toric power. If it rotates through 20 degree, it loses 2/3 of its toric power. And if it rotates through 30 degree, it loses the entire toric power. That means that 3 diopter toric lens, if it rotates through 10 degrees, it will lose 1 diopter of its correcting ability. And if it rotates through 20 degrees, it will lose 2 diopter of its correcting ability. So 1 degree rotation is equal to a loss of about 3.3%. And when you put these marks on the eye, those marks are so thick usually that 3 degrees, 4 degrees up and down is almost easily to miss. 3 degrees means almost a 10% loss, which you more or less can't cover at all. And you kind of accept it in your practice. So, whatever that is unavoidable. Of course, there are new techniques by which you can do a more precise alignment. I would show that to you in due course. Now, how do you suspect that the toric IOL has rotated within the eye? There has to be something that hits your mind. Oh my God, I hope this is not a case where this lens is rotated in the eye. So, an unexpected residual astigmatism, you suddenly come up with an astigmatism of 1.25. You might think, oh my God, is it in the right position? Is there something wrong there? When you do a refraction, you find that with the refraction, the patient is accepting a cylinder and he is seeing 6/6. That means your surgery is okay, your macula is okay, everything is fine. Only there is something wrong with the alignment or your calculation. And normally when there is a misalignment, this is a kind of a mixed astigmatism. That means you have a plus sphere minus cylinder combination. Whenever you have this, and usually they are in the ratio of 1:2. That means plus 1 minus 2. If you have this kind of a presentation and refraction, you should start suspecting that yes, the lens is the culprit. It has most probably rotated within the eye. So, you get down to determining in what axis is that lens lying now in the eye. The system is the same like we do a slit lamp examination for determining 0, 180 degree. That means you dilate the pupil, you identify those axis points within the eye. Now you make that slit lamp beam into a thin, narrow slit, turn it around and align it to those axis marks, and then read from that meter that this lens is lying at say 120 degrees. It's a very precise way. Nowadays, technology will never stay behind, so there are some mobile apps which have come in, which will help you even in the preoperative marking and in these kind of situations also. So there are 2 mobile apps. One is the Toric Pro and one is the Axis Assistant. I'll not go into the details. You can note the names, you can download those apps on your mobiles, and then you can play around with it, but they are pretty useful. Well, once you have determined that your lens has rotated within the eye, now what do? You have to fix it. And then to this, either you do some mental calculations or you bring the lens back to its original calculated position. That is what we were doing right now, that you had the lens at a particular angle, we knew this is the axis it was supposed to be, it has dialed, well, bring it back. Or you can go more precise with the help of certain softwares which are available online. And the two most popular software, rather the one most popular software is this software which is called Astigmatism Fix. There is another software called Assort.com. So I'll talk to you in detail about one software, the other is more or less a copy of the first software. So how does this Astigmatism Fix work? It helps to determine if a previously placed toric IOL is ideally aligned. By comparing the current location of the toric IOL to the patient's current manifest refraction, it can determine if rotating the toric IOL would decrease residual astigmatism. So what it is talking about is it helps to determine if a previously placed toric IOL is ideally aligned, and by comparing its new position and comparing it with the manifest refraction, it will tell you how much to rotate that IOL and what would be the ideal position. Now that ideal position may not exactly be the original position. The axis may have shifted a little bit because of the SIA, but it should be very close to the original position. It could be a few degrees this side or that side. But when you are going to redial the lens, why not go as accurate as possible? So it's a very simple procedure. You just need two parameters. You need the refraction, the current manifest refraction, and you need the IOL axis. The IOL axis you determine with the slit lamp. Refraction your optometrist is going to do for you. That's it. With just these two parameters, you go on to the software and start putting in your data. Just click calculate and this is how it comes up. Now, this is the first page of the software. I've filled up the data. Do I have If you see here, the surgeon's name, his email, the name of the patient, the eye you choose, the right or the left, the original axis which was calculated for the patient. Let us say, for an example, the original axis the lens was supposed to be in was 120. Then the refraction which is there now, which is usually a plus minus combination, and the axis. Then you have to see the lens is already within the eye. You can't change that. So you know which lens you have within the eye. So you have to click that lens. So here this lens is clicked at T5, and T5 has two parameters like Dr. Rajesh Sinha told you, a power in the lens plane, a power in the corneal plane. So we are talking about power in the corneal plane. So this lens would have a power of 2.06 T5. So when you click here, this value automatically comes here. Then this is the axis in which the lens is lying now. So it was supposed to be at 120. 120 is this. It is lying at 145 this. The power of the IOL was 22. This also is predetermined, you can't change. So these are the only two values you have changed, 145 and the refractive error. Okay. In case you are not using one of these lenses, and then this cylindrical power can be fed here. So it can work for any IOL, not necessarily the IOLs chosen by the software. So either you just click here for this power or you fill that power here and the software will work. So what does it show? It's just a two-page software. It shows this was the data which was entered, that this is a toric IOL which has this power and the lens is lying at 145. This was the refraction. This is the two things you have fed, and this is what you have got. The ideal position of the toric lens should be now at 122. Remember, if you saw that, the original position was 120. Right? I'll just show that to you. The original position was 120. Now it is suggesting the new position should be 122. Just 2 degrees away from it. And it is going to give you this whole data system that if you place your lens at 30 degrees, this is going to be a residual power. At 60 degrees, this is going to be a residual power. And this curve helps you to determine that this is the best point where your power would be the least. So you can choose that best point and put your lens at that point. Okay. Now, so what happens? What are the post-analysis options? If you are satisfied, go ahead and change it. But many a times you find that the calculator gives you a value with which you are not satisfied. It says the residual is still so high. It says 0.75 or 1. Even the best dialing cannot correct it. So then you have to think, should I go in for dialing? Or should I go in for alternative options like change the lens to another lens? Or should I go for a laser correction? So now you can evaluate before and decide what do I want to do with this patient. Dialing or no dialing. You have to remember that whatever you do, now you're just going to use the 2 side ports to make the correction. So now there is going to be no effect of SIA on the lens in a secondary procedure. SIA, what had to happen has happened before. So whatever changes it had to bring on the cornea have happened. Now when you're going to dial the lens, you're not taking into consideration any further SIA. Here's another this thing which is the assort, and this is how it gives you that you're going to dial the lens through so many degrees. Here's another method called the eye trace. Eye trace is an abrometer, and the principle of this abrometer is it takes an abrometer picture. It tells you what are the optical aberrations